XXFM.
This is Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming back to the program the board chair of Souperbowl of Caring, the lovely Dr. Judith Craven. Good morning. So good to see you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you being here. We were just talking about Tuesday. Dr. Craven and the Souperbowl of Caring are having their annual Houston Luncheon. For those who may not be familiar, or maybe they didn't get a chance to hear our conversation when you were first on the program, talk about Souperbowl of Caring and what it is you all do.
Well, Souperbowl of Caring is an organization that does a lot of things in a good way in terms of being a catalyst for other people to come together and address the problems dealing with hunger and youth. And we have an integral part in which the youth take the lead on many of these activities, as well as many of our community leaders in the Houston area. We're all familiar with the grocers around the Super Bowl time, Kroger's, Randall's, and H-E-B, selling hunger bags.
Yeah.
That all the benefit and the hunger bag, the money, the food from the hunger bags, and the money that's raised goes to the food bank to be able to address many of the hunger needs. It's one of the largest campaigns that there is, that the food bank has as a recipient as a result of that activity. And this all came about over 27 years ago in Columbia, South Carolina, when people were watching advertisements to watch the Super Bowl, that everyone was going to have a Super Bowl party and lots and lots and lots of food. And the kids there said, but they're going to be people that don't even have a bowl of soup. And that spearheaded this movement in terms of what can we as young people do? And so starting out in the church, having these soup pots take collection on Super Bowl Sunday, as well as around the time of Super Bowl when everyone's, shopping and everything, collecting food and being able to give it to those that don't have that opportunity to do that, just so that they have a basic meal to eat. And it grew over the years and across the nation and through churches and schools and communities, and invested individuals and citizens to be one of the largest campaigns that there is. Indeed.
And I really love how the young people took this by the horns.
Oh, they did.
And
they did.
And has made it this incredible thing for 27 years. That's awesome.
It's awesome. And let me tell you, we've had individuals that have been so supportive of the organization in terms of trying to provide resources and coordination. And they've been separate individuals, because most of the money that is raised and the food that is raised goes directly to the communities that raise it. They decide how that money will be spent. So for us to run our internal operations, it takes individuals that know that you need to be able to pay administrative costs to allow us to coordinate and be a catalyst in these activities. And they've been very supportive of the years. So that's why when the headquarters moved from Columbia, South Carolina in 2013 to Houston, and the McNairs were very supportive of us coming here and wanted us to be present physically for the Super Bowl coming up, that they offered us office space and some financial support to make that transition to have the headquarters here. And to that point, we've had a luncheon on an annual basis as a major fundraiser to supplement money to come in to do our operations for our budget.
Yes.
And that's how it's been. So this is the fourth luncheon. And on this one, we're going to be highlighting a lot of the youth activities and the youth leadership. If you look at who we're honoring at this go-round.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to the board chair of Souperbowl of Caring, Dr. Judith Craven. Their annual Houston Luncheon, as she just mentioned, is happening Tuesday beginning at 11 a.m. downtown at the Hilton Americas. So, yes, tell us about what will be happening at this incredible luncheon on Tuesday.
Well, first of all, you'll get a chance to learn a lot about Souperbowl of Caring. It'll be a fun event. We have a very varied audience, and we'll be recognizing those people that have worked hard in the community. And the 4 groups that we're recognizing in this one fall into different categories in terms of the services that they've done. So one area is the outstanding youth leadership. And, we talked about that at the last program.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan Simmons is coming back to be honored. He's at the University of Oklahoma. He's a sophomore there and has a remarkable story in that he started out on the Souperbowl of Caring Youth Advisory Board and then became on the National Youth Advisory Board. He was also on the mayor's council at that time. They used to have a student council to the mayor. Took an active role in that. He was on the Federal Reserve Board of Directors for Youth. So you can see the leadership skills.
Indeed.
But his focus was always hunger and meeting the needs of those that have less than he does, and getting the community to understand that there's a tremendous need there, and the face of poverty is a lot different than what people think.
Oh, absolutely.
And to be hungry, you don't have to be poor.
Come on, get out of my head,
Okay.
Dr. Craven.
Okay.
I was going to mention that. That's right.
Do we need to say anything? We saw the lines with Harvey.
Okay.
And we saw the folks standing. I mean, it's an issue. You never know what life circumstance is going to come. We were just talking
That's right.
earlier, as you know, before the show, talking about walking in other people's shoes.
Right.
And there's always going to be a need. We were talking about Sandy, and we were talking about Katrina, and now it's Harvey, and we see what happened with Maria, and all of the things that have hit, and there's going to always be those natural disasters. And people in very well circumstances, financially and other, when everything is gone, they look to individuals like our youth and our community leaders to rise up like they have in Houston and other areas, to help out their fellow man.
Yeah.
And we've got to instill that belief on an ongoing basis in our youth and in our community, because they're our future, that it is our servant right to be able to help other individuals. And we need to have that servant leadership.
Yes.
And not be judgmental of others, because it only takes a second to be one of those others.
You won't care. You won't understand until it happens to you.
That's
just
exactly
like you
right.
said. And it also made me think about this Republican when President Obama was in office, and how he was against Obamacare, and then he ended up having some terminally ill disease, and Obamacare saved his life because he had a pre-existing condition when before he couldn't get coverage, but now with that. And so he admitted to that. And so I'm like, look, you will never understand or care until it happens to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there are opportunities to not be judgmental. And, we're told not to judge others. Okay. And you just don't know who's in need walking right next to you.
Indeed.
Okay. And so that we have this opportunity to instill that belief in our young people, because they're our future leaders. But today, on a day-to-day basis, also help people on an individual basis. It makes all the difference in the world. It really does. And, some interesting things have happened since the last time we met.
Oh, please do share.
Let me share with you from the financial point of view. As you know, we were in a state of flux of change.
Sure.
And that funds had not come in terms of the level that we needed to really operate the organization.
Yeah.
So at present time, for the past, I would say, 5 months, we've been operating with one full-time staff. That's the CEO. And when I say while she's full-time, she's on a decreased salary. She took a cut. And we have one part-time salary in Columbia, South Carolina. And that is it on the paid staff and myself. And as we sat and looked at how are we going to carry out, because we believe in this mission, and how do we make it happen, we had a women's luncheon. We were talking about we were going to do that.
Yeah.
We got volunteers of an expertise level like you would not believe. We have 30 women that if we had to pay for just one of them would be beyond our entire budget.
Wow.
And the time and the effort and the resources that have been given to us are unbelievable. And the people that have come forth and said, okay, you need help with that luncheon. We'll be there as volunteers to help seat people, and we'll help you do this. And they help write up the program till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I think of Tony and her organization in terms of, we've got to get the word out. We're going to work with you on that. The other thing was that came out of this is that while I can articulate what we do, our printed materials did not very well. So we really needed new communication tools. And these women came together and spent a whole after many, many meetings and said, listen, we need this one piece. We're going to have a strategic planning day. And it was at Tony's office. And we came out, and we're coming out with who we are and why we do what we do and the whole 9 yards. And we came out with that piece.
Look at God.
Isn't it? And this, do you know what you would pay for that if you had to pay for those kinds of services? Mm-hmm. And they did it because they got a chance to see the individuals that were doing the work and that were out there really making a difference. And they believe in the cause and the need. And so we've got from IT people, lawyers looking at contracts, media people, videographers, everything. All the stuff. And it's all donated time.
That is just, I can't even think of an adjective right now to describe how incredible
it's
that really is. Just the human spirit.
The
people of Houston, Texas.
It really is.
I really can't. I'm speechless when it comes to.
You're speechless.
I really am. From Harvey, something as big as Hurricane Harvey with people helping each other, to something as small as a lady dropping her hat from the garage building at the Astros parade, and people throwing it up, floor up, and cheering each other on so this woman can get her hat.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
This is Houston.
It's encouraging, isn't it?
It really is.
And I think we have a chance to take America back our way.
Okay.
Let me just put it out there, okay?
Yeah.
It needs to be back to this is America of all of us helping each other regardless of religious belief, regardless of color, regardless of life circumstances, because we really all want the same thing for our families and loved ones and desire. And
indeed.
And it's just time for us to do that.
Dr. Judith Craven, the board chair for Souperbowl of Caring. Please join us on a Tuesday at the Hilton Americas, Hilton downtown at 1600 Lamar for the Souperbowl of Caring's annual Houston Luncheon, where they will be honoring some great young people, some good civic organizations, educational institutions, and whatnot. And it begins at 11 a.m. And then they can go to eventbrite.com and then search
Souperbowl of Caring.
Search Souperbowl of Caring. And that's super spelled like a bowl of soup. So Souper, Souperbowl of Caring. Dr. Craven, it's so good to talk to you.
It's good talking with you.
I can only imagine, just sitting down at a dinner table, just having casual conversations. I'm sure we'd be there for hours.
Absolutely.
Indeed. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth, welcoming two lovely, vivacious young women. One who I have not seen in quite some time. Lovely Jan Taylor from Taylor Visions. Hi, Jan.
Hi there. A lot has happened, KG, since I've seen you. Oh my gosh,
it's been a while.
We met during the Butterflies Win, which is a foundation that I started quite a few years ago, and it was an extension of domestic violence and how the women who have come out of that, we needed something to make sure that the kids transition from it well. So Butterflies Win we put together. That's where the coat drive came into place, so that when the women and the children leave that home, the last thing they're thinking about is to put a coat on that child's back. So I started this thing and started doing a coat drive. And KG, I met him at a speaking engagement, and we just connected. I don't think it was an all women's event, like a session for the women of domestic violence. And to have a gentleman there, he was supporting a very good friend of his who was hosting it, just to have a gentleman there, secure of himself, and also letting the people know zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. This is what he's about. I fell in love with him as my brother, my pal, and anytime I call him, he is just right there, and anytime he needs me, I'm right there to support him.
Oh, thank you, Jan. This is not about me, though. Please.
But I had to say who you are. Yes, it is.
I appreciate it, but enough of that.
Okay,
thank you. And welcome for the first time.
This is Linda here.
Yes, Miss Linda Scott. Linda, tell us about yourself, darling.
I'm Linda Scott, and everyone who don't know will know that I am originally from Florida.
Yes, she's South Florida too.
We're homegirls. Jane. So And I'm here in Houston to bring 1426 Fashion Week. Try to bring some more fashion into Houston. It is a growing city.
Yes.
And why not have 1426 Fashion Week in it?
And 1426 Fashion Week. What is 1426?
1426 is models between the sizes of 14 to 26.
Okay.
All your curves. What kind of
All
curve
your
you want?
curves.
Okay.
That's it. It's all in those numbers right there.
Okay. I like that. And the how long have you been in the fashion industry?
Oh my God. In the business itself since about 1982, because I started out as a standard model. But doing 1426 Fashion Week, this is my 10th year anniversary right here.
Nice.
And I'm super happy to have it here in Houston celebrating my 10th year.
That's incredible. What do you think about finally the fashion industry and the modeling industry embracing curves and voluptuous women? You know, like the one girl, Ashley
Graham.
Yeah,
I have
you know.
a story about Ashley Graham because in Florida, I was trying to get us into Sports Illustrated, and I took about 11 girls over to Key West, and we did a major swimwear photo shoot. And they just wasn't ready for me. That was in 2011. So when Ashley did it, I sent Ashley a thank you notice. Ashley, thank you for finally opening the door. We've been trying to go in for a minute. So you just have to keep going. And like people used to tell me, Linda, you're ahead of your time. So, but I just say keep going. Keep going. I am glad that now people are really embracing the real women, the real person. Not that, and it's not so much that you're now just embracing it, because behind closed doors, you embrace it. It's just now openly you're coming, because if you look in every home, you have a person in your house that is a size 14 and up. So, you know, Big Mama, she didn't play. What size was she? Big Mama said, big girl. What she said, that's what it was. And then you look at your grandmother, and you look at some of these families who, you can tell they're family members because all of them are built just alike. So it didn't just come today, and it didn't just come yesterday. So, but I'm really glad that people now are embracing themselves and loving who they are.
Yes.
Yeah, you're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Linda Scott from 1426 Fashion Week and the lovely Jan Taylor. So all of the events that happened this past week, tell us about what went down, and before we get to the big event that is today on the 12th.
Go ahead, Linda. So what did we do the first day?
Friday was a celebration of my 60th birthday.
What? Shut up.
It was that throwdown. I still got it. But anyway, that's what Friday was all about. Meeting and greeting all the models who were coming from all over the country, various locations, and just having a good time. The designers, the photographers, it was just about the business.
Yes. And tell them where we were.
And then Saturday.
Taylor's. I forgot to say Taylor's, and it's so beautiful. I had never
Oh, yeah,
been there.
Taylor's is really nice.
Yeah, I've never been there, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Saturday, we brought in runway coach Jeannie Ferguson from New York. And to people who don't know Jeannie, and when you see her, you'll be like, she's only 5'4", but she walks as if she's 6 feet. So
it was a modeling workshop.
That was truly, truly amazing.
And so what do they teach at a modeling workshop? Of course, how to walk, turn,
in a modeling workshop, what you learn is about the business itself. And people don't think that you need to learn this business. They just, hey, I'm beautiful. Oh, I know how to walk, so I can go get in. It's so much more to it than that. And that's what you do at a modeling workshop.
Like, elaborate. Like, we would teach you how to
teach you how to walk. We would teach you, first of all, how to love yourself. Bringing in all of the stuff that you don't need. To be able to listen to someone scam, basically. So we're teaching you everything about the business. And it was only for $25, and you got major information. All you had to do was come in with your pen and paper and suck in all the information, and that's what took place on Saturday.
And that's going to be something that's going to take on from here because of the turnout and the fact of the awareness that just what you said, more people think that, okay, just get on the stage, walk, turn, but this is something that's teaching a person. It's a self-esteem that's they're instilling in you, and on top of that, it's making sure that that person who's walking, make them become serious about their art, because it's your art, it's your craft, and it teaches you to own it, and here and here and here.
Nice. You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Jan Taylor and Linda Scott from 1426 Fashion Week, Christmas in November. And so the big show is today.
Yay!
Happening at the Houston Marriott Westchase. And you guys are doing something special with
so special.
This fashion
Heartfelt.
show. So tell us about that.
You want to go back?
As far as the recipients, that's what stole my heart, is when Linda approached me and said, I want you to be the host for the show. And she told me a little bit about the background of LS 1426. But then when she told me, because I'm humanitarian connected. So you got to tell me, is it connected to a cause? Because I don't just jump out there for just anything, because I'm just for the people, KG. So I said, okay, what is it connected to? And when she said children, November, these Christmas in November, that stole my heart. Children, and the fact that so many of these kids were affected by Harvey from all ethnicities, and the fact that the biggest thing is that because of my platform now, my degree in international business, I see this as a whole Houston. I know we say it, but this is a whole Houston thing, because Harvey didn't just touch the wealthy, the middle, the low. It touched everybody. And if it didn't touch you, it touched someone who's in your family that's connected to you.
Definitely one degree of separation.
Oh, my goodness. So that's why everybody just has to come out this afternoon, be a part of this. Even if you don't like fashion, it's the cause that's behind it, and bring something. Linda, tell you a little bit about the items that we're reaching out for people to bring. Tell us about that, Linda.
So what we're looking for, and it's just what Jan said, and the kids are my heart as well. I mean, I love to see kids on Christmas, because I remember when I was in, that age. But what we're looking for is toys and clothing, hygiene, those items. And we have infants up to 16 years old, boys and girls. And the toys, what you buy your kids for Christmas? Come on, just buy one extra gift and bring it in. You don't have to wrap it. We will wrap it for you. And just the hygiene stuff, all the toothpastes and brushes and deodorant and blankets, all those things that will help you have a wonderful Christmas. We want to put a smile on another kid's face as well. So those are the items that we're looking for.
Nice. I want to tune in on, make a pin on there when it comes to the kids, because especially when I did the coat drive. When you're thinking of the infants, the onesies, I used to get so much feedback from people about onesies. Make sure you bring those onesies for those toddlers, because those they're like priceless. So that's a good idea, and they're inexpensive.
Indeed. So where's everything taking place?
Okay, so everything is taking place in Houston at the Marriott Westchase. It's right off of the Beltway and Westheimer. You can't, you won't, you shouldn't miss it. And it starts at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Doors open at 5. We're going to have vendors and all kind of vendors. And so it's not just one particular, everybody's selling jewelry or whatever like that, but we're going to have everybody. So come on out, see all the designers. We have designers coming in from Canada, Nigeria, Atlanta, and we have a couple of secret weapons right here in Houston that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
And that would be Nancy Johnson. I think that's College Station. She's out of College Station.
Okay.
She is crazy talented. You have Tawana Thomas. Skirts are fashion. Thank you for being on it. She got it. So we have
Dirk Richardson.
Dirk.
DR is a Couture. He's of Houston.
He's of Houston, and his creation is awesome. And then here we have a special guest, which is Kenya Freeman from Project Runway season
Kenya's
16.
gonna be there. She's out of Atlanta.
Truly awesome. And yes, she's out of Atlanta as well. So
where can people go get more information?
You can go to www.1426-fashionweek.com, or you can just call me. I am available 832-945-1426.
All
Give it
right.
to them again.
The number is 832-945-1426, and the website is www.1426-fashionweek.com.
Indeed. So we want to see you tonight, 6 p.m. at the Houston Marriott Westchase. That's 2900 Briar Park. Log on to the website, 1426-fashionweek.com. Looking forward to it. Your host for the evening will be the lovely Jan Taylor from International Business Affairs. And part of the proceeds or recipients, Harvey victim recipients will be receiving something. Absolutely. So, you know, the proceeds are going toward something that we are going to be living with and working on for a long time here in Houston, Texas. And on social media, hashtag 1426 Fashion Week, 1426 Fashion Week, or hashtag 1426 Houston Strong. Yay. So both for the Harvey victims and for the website. Ladies, thank you so much. Linda Scott and Jan Taylor. Log on to the website 1426-fashionweek.com. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston.
We'll be back with more Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.